Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. Taxpayers who need last year's tax return have several options. IRS Tax Tip 2020-139, October 20th, 2020. Help is available for taxpayers who need tax information for prior years, but who don't keep copies of their returns. There are options for helping taxpayers get the information they need. Taxpayers should generally keep copies of their tax return and any documentation for at least 3 years after they file. If taxpayers don't keep these records, here are some things they can do. So obviously when you file the tax return, you want to have your copy of the tax return. If you have a tax professional file your tax return, they should provide you some copy of that tax return. You want to keep the tax return as well as the documentation related to it for at least 3 years, because that's the general statute of limitation that the IRS can come back, ask questions about. Although if there's circumstances that they think are large, or if they think fraud is involved, then they have more than 3 years to come back. So I would hold on to it longer than that. But if for some reason you don't have that information and you need that information, then the documentation, including W-2s and 1099s, not only got sent to the taxpayer, but also the IRS. So the IRS has that information, and of course they have the tax return filing information. So you can look there to see if you can pick up the things that you need, the information you want. So ask software provider or tax preparer. Those who need a copy of their tax return should check with their software provider or tax preparer first. Prior year tax returns are available from the IRS for a fee. So you can, first thing you want to do is say, okay, I don't have my tax return. I need it for some particular reason. Perhaps I need it for supporting a loan or something like that, right? If I can't find it, then I would go to the tax preparer. Possibly they have a copy of it in their system, and that would be the first place to go, and or the software provider. If you use some kind of proprietary software, then it might be there available in the software to basically be printing out that information. Then if that doesn't work, then you can then think about getting it from the IRS website, which might cause or result in a fee. Get a transcript. Taxpayers who can't get a copy of a prior year return may order a tax transcript from the IRS. So this is another option, typically a free option, to get basically a layout or transcript of the information. To protect taxpayers' identities, this document partially masks personally identifiable information such as names, addresses, and social security numbers. All financial entries, including the filer's adjusted gross income, are fully visible. These are free and available for the most current tax year after the IRS has processed the return. So obviously when you're thinking about the transcript, the IRS needs to be processing the return, because the transcript is going to be something that will be generated once the return has been processed. Then you should have the availability of the transcript at least for the prior year. People can also get them for the past 3 years. So they got the past 3 years. Taxpayers ordering a transcript should allow time for delivery. Here are 3 ways to get the transcripts. Get transcripts online, probably the easiest way. People can use this tool, there's a link to that here, to view, print, or download a copy of all transcript types. There's a link to transcript types here. Those who use it must authenticate their identification using the secure access process. There's a link to the secure access process. Taxpayers who are unable to register or prefer not to get transcripts online may use the Get Transcript by Mail, there's a link to that here, to order a tax return or account transcript type. Taxpayers should allow 5 to 10 calendar days for delivery. By phone, the number is 800-908-9946. By mail, taxpayers can complete and send either Form 4506-T, there's a link to that here, or Form 4506-T-EZ, there's a link to that here, to the IRS to get one by mail. They use Form 4506-T to request other tax records, tax account transcripts, record of account, wage and income, and verification of non-filing. These forms are available on the Forms, Instructions, and Publications page on irs.gov. There's a link to that page here. Request a copy of a tax return from the IRS. If necessary, taxpayers can request a copy of a tax return by completing and mailing Form 4506, there's a link to that here, to the IRS address listed on the form. There's a $50 fee for each copy, and these are available for the current tax year and up to 6 years prior.